Greetings, class. This is Mike Williams coming at you with another video. I'm going to talk today about December the 1st, 1962, but in particularly December 1962, which is what which is required of this assignment. I want to state first of all about the weather on the day that I was born, December the 1st, 1962, which was on a Saturday. It was 44 degrees, very mild for that particular time of the year. It wasn't. We weren't accustomed to having weather that warm that time of year. This is a fluke situation due to a low pressure system that was sitting on us, and we had just got clobbered a week or so ago by a blizzard. So we were still digging out, and the roads were still pretty tricky, but we weren't getting any snow at that particular time. I always was told it was snowing. I used to tell people I was born in a blizzard, but I see that I was mistaken. We had a blizzard, and we still were digging out, dealing with the aftermath of it at that particular time. Next, I want to go ahead and talk about some sports. And I really wanted to get to this area because I'm a big boxing fan. And back then, boxing ruled supreme. Boxing was a big draw back then. It was a lot cheaper to go see a match than it is today. So I'll start off by saying that from 60 to 62, the heavyweight champion was Mr. Floyd Patterson, followed by 62 to 64 was Sonny Liston, who was defeated by the greatest of all time, Muhammad Ali, who held on to the title before being stripped because he didn't want to go to Vietnam. Blah blah blah. You all know the story. Next, we'll do a little NCAA, Big Ten. Ohio State, of course, were number one. With a record of 20-4 that year. Followed Michigan was fourth with a record of 16-8, which is pretty decent. Michigan State, I don't know what happened. They were ninth in the division with a record of 4-16. And the NCAA title champs was Cincinnati, who had a powerhouse. They were considered a powerhouse back then, who defeated Ohio State 71-59. Next, we're going to move on to the NFL, who in 1962, the champs were the Green Bay Packers, who defeated the New York Giants 16-7, and Detroit Lions had a record of 11-3 that year. And you guys probably thinking, oh, you don't believe it, that's good, but that's really on par for them. They always won, 10, 11, 12 games back then, primarily through defense. Detroit had a very hard, bruising defense. If you look at any of those old films back then, you can see the way the guys played very hard, very vicious hits, very hard. I don't know how the guys' bodies put up with it, but they did. Um, anyway, yeah, Detroit had a great team back then, and we're very proud of them. Next, I want to share some economic highlights of the year and the month. The average minimum wage, believe it or not, was $1.15 an hour. The average yearly income was $6,000 a month. The average car was 2,500. The average house was 7,500. The average loaf of bread was a nickel a loaf. Some of these are really going to astound you. The average price of a movie ticket was 50 cents. The average price of non-Air Jordan tennis shoes or gym shoes was $5 a pair. Unlike a lot of y'all, you never had a $5 pair of shoes, but I have. The average price of a refrigerator was $500. A newspaper was 10 cents. Average price of a TV was about 400, and you know what? That hasn't changed much. To get a halfway decent TV nowadays, you spend about the same thing for a halfway decent flat screen. A payphone call was 10 cents. A postage stamp was 4 cents. A hamburger was 20 cents. Bet it wasn't McDonald's. A soft drink was 10 cents or a pop. Ice cream bars were 15 cents. A candy bar was a nickel. And I remember all that. Man, I'm really getting old. Like I said, the new cars are 25. I stand corrected. I said $7,500 for the price of a new house, but the average 3 bedroom house was going in this area about 15,000. So those are your economic highlights, as well as the gas 25 cents a gallon. And oh my God, how come we can't go back to those days? That's all I'm thinking. I could deal with reduced income level because all the other prices were reduced proportionately. Unlike today, our wages stay the same, but prices continue to rise and we get no relief. But anyway, back then, a lot of things were happening in this area. We were the center of the universe at that particular time for music. The nation as a whole it's going through a musical growth and expansion with the British invasion. When Motown was the thing, the number one group was Smokey Robinson and the Miracles, and their hit "You Really Got a Hold on Me." They actually had another hit that came in number four was "I'll Try Something New." Number five was the Mighty Mighty Temptations off their first album, and with a song called "Dream Come True." Number three, Mary Wells, "You Beat Me to the Punch." And Marvin Gaye was number two with a song I never even heard of called "Hitchhike." I actually watched the video, and it was in black and white and kind of fuzzy, but I had never heard the song before, and it was number two. I don't know what people liked about it. It didn't do anything for me, but he was number two at that time. So these are pretty much the highlights of the year. Another great thing that happened, the space race was heating up. Marine Corps General John Glenn had flew 3 times around the Earth in one of the Apollo missions, and that was a big deal back then. Like I said, the space race was heating up with the Russians. They had already done the Sputnik. They had already launched a man into orbit, and I think they were getting ready for their first slingshot around the moon. If they hadn't already done so with either a monkey or a dog, one or the other. Okay, well, that's my report. I thank you all for listening, and I hope you all do well in the class, and much success to you. God bless you. Goodbye.